And now, the general weather around Alaska.
Up first, hazardous weather graphic, warnings and advisories. We've got blizzard warnings out for St. Lawrence Island, the coastal areas here, the Yukon and Kuskokwim Delta, into the western capes of Bristol Bay for tonight, and then some winter weather advisories here, eastern Norton Sound, and up here to the northwest around Kotzebue, to the northwest coast there for tonight into tomorrow. Then a cold weather advisory out for here everywhere south and east of the Alaska Range down into the Kenai Peninsula for cold temperatures, and anywhere there's a wind blowing, those wind chills will really plummet. And the blizzard warning continues out for tonight for the eastern Arctic coast. And here for the Panhandle, some winter storm warnings for heavy snow until 9 p.m. this evening, up around Juneau and Douglas, and then Wrangell, Petersburg or so, out toward or actually down toward Prince of Wales Island. Heavy snow falling today, Heidelberg, Craig, Klawock, and those areas. And then some advisories for snow, not so heavy there. And all of these end at 9 p.m. this evening as the snow showers take off to the southeast. On the satellite, you can see the spin here, the pinwheel, cold upper low, snow showers right down to sea level out here, all moving into the Panhandle, one band coming in. The showers actually, as they interact with the terrain, develop into a steady, heavier snow in some areas, while other areas don't get as much. But a lot of the area did see some new snow today, clear and cold over the interior. Still some clouds and maybe some flurries, very light though for the eastern interior areas. And out to the west here, you can see the first system here. Moisture is pushing up to the northeast and then down across the Pribilof Islands. Another system farther to the west there, bringing more precipitation and rain and wind into the western Aleutians. And on the chart today, here's that first system pushing northeastward here, and the warm front spreading up toward the southwest coast, bringing winds anywhere from 45 to 65 miles per hour in gusts, with strongest winds along the coast there. I believe Cape Romanzoff had a peak wind gust of 83 miles per hour. By far the highest wind gust out in that area. Snow and blowing snow pushing up into St. Lawrence Island today. Again, blizzard warnings out through these areas for tonight. And then milder air down to the south here. Pribilof's up around 40 degrees now with rain, and rain back to the western and central Aleutians with that next system. Cold high pressure today. Many areas staying, in some cases, in the minus 40s all day, minus 30s and 40s here. Coldest here back to the west where the skies are clear, and should start clearing out a little bit more here as the high shifts eastward over the eastern interior, and that should translate into some colder temperatures, especially overnight, and a lot of snow showers, some of them on the heavy side across the southeast coast. Well, tonight that all slides off to the southeast as cold Arctic high pressure starts to ride in on some pretty gusty northeast winds via gravity flow there into the northern Panhandle. Will be even chilling off and drying out, but the winds won't be as strong as they will be up toward Lynn Canal there for the southern areas. And this area of snow here with a high sliding a little bit to the east there, allowing it to come in with some westerly flow aloft, trying to push it up at least to the Kuskokwim Mountains with some light snow up through the Bering Strait, western Seward Peninsula, pushing into the southern Chukchi Sea, and then starting to taper off, milder air behind this warm front. So rain for the central Bering Sea there, but looks like it'll be west of the Pribilofs mostly into Adak and Atka. Stays wet there and windy, and no change for the central Aleutians tomorrow. That front right just over Adak Island there. And this warm front pushing milder air up into the south Yukon Kuskokwim Delta area with still some light snow, but winds a lot lighter now up in this area. Stays clear and cold over the central and eastern half of the state, right on down into the Gulf of Alaska. Very windy and cold here for the northern Panhandle, and actually even increasing winds and falling temperatures down to the southern areas and toward Dixon Entrance. Early on, still a risk of some light snow showers Friday over the southern areas, but that should be ended by the afternoon, later in the afternoon. And still clear and cold for the southeast coast on Saturday. Windiest up in the north. Less wind, but still fair here across southern Alaska. And some of this moisture slides eastward, bringing some light snow into the Tanana Valley there. Light snow up here along the southern slopes of the western Brooks Range area into the Noatak Valley, northwest coast. Also the weak warm front, chance of some light snow for the southern Seward Peninsula into the Bering Strait. Chance of some light snow or flurries for the central Arctic coast, and a stronger low pressure area coming into the far western Aleutians there. That'll bring gale force winds out in this area all the way actually into the eastern Aleutians. Be quite windy. Again, warm winds, south to north flow coming northward here. And again, pretty dry though in that southerly flow, some clearing there for the Pribilof Islands. And looks like some more rain poised to slide up into the eastern Aleutians, Alaska Peninsula, probably Saturday evening. Lows tonight, minus 30s for the Copper River Basin, and for the Kuskokwim Valley into the minus 40s, 5 to 20 below for south central Alaska, lower 20s Kodiak Island, and 5 below to 5 above for Bristol Bay. Lows really getting chilly there for the Panhandle, especially with the wind, down to 10 to 15 degrees for the lows, mid 20s to the south, highs tomorrow, upper 20s, mid to upper 20s to the southern Panhandle, staying in the teens from Juneau on up toward Haines and Skagway, maybe even Petersburg as well. High minus 20 for Gulkana. Single numbers again here for south central Alaska, staying below zero though for the Mananuska-Susitna Valley areas. Lower 30s Kodiak Island. Warming up here for Bristol Bay, 25 to 30 for the highs. Staying below zero for McGrath and Nikolai. Sparavon up into the mid-teens tomorrow. And then for the lows on Saturday morning, 30 to 35 below there in the Copper River Basin, anywhere from 0 to 20 below. Again, coldest here up in the Susitna Valley there in the blue shaded area, which includes Willow and areas west of the Parks Highway. And for the highs, mid-30s for the for Kodiak, and 30 to 35 for Bristol Bay, coming back above zero here in the Kuskokwim Valley, and in the teens for the most part for south central Alaska, staying below zero in the Copper River Basin, and for the southeast coast, highs barely getting above zero there for Haines on up towards Skagway, call it 10 for Juneau. Teens in the central southeast coast, 20 to 25 down to the south. And up to the north here, lows tonight, 25 to 55 below, about sums it up for the whole area, but milder there, staying above zero for Nome and St. Lawrence Island. Highs, lower 30s now, up to Ammonich and St. Lawrence Island, 20s for the Seward Peninsula here, still well below zero for the central and east side up to the Arctic coast, followed by lows anywhere from 25 to 50 below, give or take here for the eastern interior, but temperatures contrasting from east to west with a milder air coming northward here. Lows in the teens for the Seward Peninsula area, upper 20s St. Lawrence Island, followed by highs above freezing for Nome and St. Lawrence Island, as well as the Yukon Delta. Staying below zero, but not quite as far here on the east side. In fact, Fairbanks, Tanana coming up to about zero. Out to the west, lows in the mid-30s for the Pribilofs, mid to upper 30s there for the Aleutians. Into the Alaska Peninsula, followed by highs near 40 again for the Pribilofs, lower 40s for all of the Aleutian chain into the Alaska Peninsula, lower to mid-30s for the southwest coast, and for lows, not much cooler there for the coast, lower 30s. Same thing for the Pribilofs, 30s for the Aleutians, followed by highs in the upper 30s to lower 40s for the Bering Sea and Aleutians, lower to mid-30s here for the west coast.